and welcome back to More Math. Today we are talking about absolute value and magnitude. Absolute value, magnitude. We'll talk about absolute value more in a minute. Magnitude is how big a number is. Doesn't matter if it's positive or negative, but how big is that number? So I wrote on my board here some average temperatures, just for 2 months, for Joplin, because I'm in Joplin, Missouri, and Anchorage, Alaska, because I figured that'd give me a little difference there. So in August, the average temperature in Joplin, high temperature, is 85 degrees. This summer it's been much more, trust me. Anyway, in Anchorage, it's 16 degrees. Whoa, that's a huge difference. Say, which one of those numbers is greater? 85, nice job. All right, and now for December, the average high temperature in Joplin is 48 degrees, and the average high temperature in Anchorage, Alaska is a -4 degrees. You know, I have to ask, which one of those numbers is less than? Good job. I'm going to write this one down just to remind us. We know that -4 is less than 48. Good job. Nice little review there. Well done. All right, so my question is, if I were to graph these numbers on my number line, how far away from 0 would 85 be? Yep, that's right. It would be way over here. It would be 85 units from 0. It has a magnitude of 85. Nice. How far away would 16 be? It would be 16 units away. I am just totally guessing on my spacing here. Probably somewhere like that. I don't know. About there. What about the 48? Yeah, I'm going to say it's about right there. It'd be 48 units from 0. Here's what's a little more tricky. -4. Good. It goes to the left of the 0. We've got our -4 there. How many units from 0 is that? 4 units. It has a magnitude of 4. So although it's negative, that doesn't matter. How far is it? It's 4 units. Good job. So basically what we're talking about, the absolute value of a number is its distance from 0. The magnitude is how big it is. That's just another way of talking about absolute value. So the big words we're going to use now is absolute value. It measures the distance. So we're going to say absolute value I can spell is the distance from 0. And I forgot we were going to put that up. All right. Good job. So another example, talking about magnitude and absolute value. And again, we're talking about absolute value is the distance from 0, right? It is a positive number. That's going to be the distance from 0. We're going to emphasize that here. So this is me out fishing on the lake. Again, math teacher, not an artist. Don't judge me. It's not nice. So here I am, and I've got going to have my fishing rod. And here's my fishing rod. And I have a very large boat, apparently. I need a very long fishing rod to get past it. And here's my line coming out. There's the bobbin, you know the bobbin. It's like floats on the water. It tells you where your line goes in the water. And then my line is going down here to the bottom. And guess what? Today there are fish. And I have a fish right here. He's about 2 feet below the surface. And I've got a fish over here. And he's what? Oh, maybe like 6 feet below the surface. And then there's George. George is all the way down here. He's kind of a loner, hanging out down here. He's about 10 feet down. So I got 3 fish out there that I'm trying to catch. Here's my hook. Impressed? Thank you, I try. All right, so I'm out there fishing. I've got these 3 fish I'm trying to catch. If I were to catch George, we said George is right here, right? How much line do I need? How long does my line have to be at least to get to George? It has to be at least 10 feet, right? Because it has to get from here, from 0, the water line. I know, there's all the other line. We're ignoring that right now. We're just using from the water line, right? So if this is 0 right here where that bobbin is, how far down is it to George? It is 10 feet down. So my line has to be at least 10 feet. Now, does it matter that he's below water and so it's a negative 10? Does that change how much line I need to get from here to here? It doesn't. It doesn't matter whether it's up, down, sideways, through the ceiling. It doesn't matter at all, right? It's a 10-foot span that I need. So the absolute value of a number tells me the difference, the distance, excuse me. It tells me the distance to get from where I'm starting to where I'm finishing, to getting from 0 to the point that I'm going to. So if George is 10 feet down, I need 10 feet of line. So this one here in the middle, we'll call this Mary. Mary is in the middle. So I'm going to catch fish Mary here. How long of a line do I need? Good. We started at 0. How far down is Mary? Mary is -6. So how much do I need? I need 6 feet. Good job. And then this top one here, we'll say Tom on the top. Good. We just need 2 because he's -2 feet down. Nice job. So we understand that the absolute value is the distance from 0. How far am I from the bobbin to the fish? How much line do I need? That's the absolute value. It is the distance. So all that fishing stuff, we're talking about absolute value. Absolute value is the distance from 0. That's the definition. Absolute value is the distance from 0. So how do we write absolute value? It's a very complicated and difficult thing. I lie. We're going to draw 2 vertical lines because we know what vertical means. And the number on the inside, we're going to find the absolute value. So if I say, what is the absolute value of -3? That's how I would write it. What is the absolute value of -3? Well, let's find out. If we have a number line, and here's 0, 1, 2, here's -3. How many units is it from -3 to 0? 1, 2, 3. It is 3 units away from 0. The magnitude is 3. The absolute value of -3 is 3. That's all it is. All you have to remember is that absolute value is a distance. A distance cannot be negative. How far away do you live from school? I live a -6 miles away. That doesn't make sense. I live 6 miles away. Doesn't matter what direction. We're not getting into vectors here. We are just talking about distance. The distance is 6 miles. It's the absolute value. It's a distance. It's positive. All right. So here's a little thing that I think helps. If these are my absolute value signs, right? I can take these two and I can just flop this over and remind myself an absolute value is always positive. We get to pretend to be a cheerleader. All right. So our absolute value is positive. The absolute value is always going to be positive. So let's just try a couple things here. If I said to you, what is the absolute value of -8? It is 8. Good job. What is the absolute value of -10? It is 10. I'm going to trick you. Are you ready? What is the absolute value of 4? Did you say 4? You're right. If you said -4, I got you. The absolute value symbol does not take the opposite. We learned about opposites already. If this is not the opposite, it is the positive. So no matter what number's inside the absolute value symbols, it's always positive. So the absolute value of a +4 is 4. Let's try another one. What is the absolute value of 2? Good job. All right, you know I got to trick you. Are you ready? What is the absolute value of 0? Lol. Of course it's 0. Nice job. The last thing I want to talk about is I went to the store, I spent $25. Can you write that 2 different ways now that we've learned absolute value? How could you write $25, I spent $25? Well, first one's easy. I spent $25, I am out $25. $25 is gone, -25. Take away $25 from my bank account. It's a change in value of a -25, right? Another way I can write it is I can say, I can use the absolute value sign and say that my bank account changed by $25. I spent $25. So these are saying the same thing in that this is a -$25. That's the money that I spent today. 25 is how much money that I spent today. I know, it can be a little confusing. Don't overthink it. If I spent $14 on Tuesday and I spent $32 on Wednesday, which amount had the smaller change? So I spent $14 here, I spent $32 there. So on my account, I subtracted $14 on Tuesday, I subtracted $32 on Wednesday. Which one had the lesser change? On Tuesday, right? Because it's a smaller magnitude. 14 is less than 32. All right, today we talked about absolute value and magnitude. The absolute value is a positive number because it tells us the distance from 0. It's the same as the magnitude. It's what is the value of that number? How big is that number? Thanks for joining us today.